Hey, welcome back to another track from scratch episode of this metalcore track. Now, I have some unfortunate news. I did do some work off camera, some small stuff, but I think some of the things that I can recall that I did is I went ahead and the kind of chorus part that we wrote that had this pattern to it, basically, I just didn't think it fit the song, so I went ahead and just muted it, and we can revisit it if need be, but I don't think that this is going to be something that kind of makes it. And then I added a kind of last breakdown. I extended the breakdown to fit some vocals, and then I also added like a slowdown towards the end. So I want to say I think that's just about everything that I did. Not too many things. What mostly took time was just getting some vocals down, and these are definitely just a very rough idea vocal. I got some lyrics written, I got some kind of effects down, but they're not quite where I want them to be, so I think I'll play them without the vocals, and then you'll kind of hear the vocals in probably next week's episode. I'll probably get this track wrapped up. So let's go ahead and listen to the instrumental. Let's listen to what I have done, and then next week should probably be the kind of finale of this track. So let's go ahead and mute that, and let's listen to what we got. So that's how the track stands. I forgot I also added this kind of bass breakdown, and I can actually show you kind of how I did that. So it's literally just the bass. And the thing I didn't understand, and I think we've talked about this in like the first or second episode, is a lot of people are layering, or a lot of bands layer their bass guitar with an actual sub bass, so you can get like a nice like crunchy bass that's not distorting a bunch of the lower frequencies. It keeps it nice and clean, and then you can just replace all of that lower end frequencies with a actual sub bass that's carrying. So this is what the sub bass sounds like. Have a little bit of like overtone on it, some tone, distortion, etc. But the bass, it can sound nice and crunchy because of that. So like if we took off the EQ, like it sounds cool, but the bass is just completely gone. So just removing that and layering it. And then all I did for the pattern here was I just copied the breakdown. Just that way it gave it like a little bit like a hint that it was coming. And because I feel like this section kind of just ramped up too quickly into this breakdown. So I just wanted to introduce like some elements of 4. And I think maybe I'm just used to the track now. I think it fits better, but it'll probably be something that has to have some type of vocal element that's introducing it or just building intensity. Because right now there's nothing sitting there that can fit the kind of section I need it to. So just gonna have to brainstorm ideas. I have, you know, the next week to try to come up with something, but this week I didn't really work on it too much. Just, you know, what I said I did. So I just wanted to make this kind of to be like a little bit like of a drum, you know, like the drummer kind of going off in this section. So the drums are kind of doing their thing, and then just to complement the bass. One thing I'm learning to do is trying to switch between cymbals instead of just using like the China or the crash every single like measure. So just switching back in between this the tight edge of the hat and then that tip, just to kind of like stop the sound, gives it like a nice cool swing. And then I'm making sure that I'm going in here and I'm humanizing these, so you can see like some of these snare hits are off a little bit, just to make it sound like it was actually played with a real human. And I think the Modern and Massive is a pretty good, or as close as you can get to doing that. So I'm not a drummer, I've never played the drums before, I have probably horrible timing if we really think about it, but this is just what I could do to figure out what's going to sound good in that bass line. So one thing I do want to show you is I think this ending part sounds cool when the vocals come in. I want to make this part like a little bit more choppy, like it's like an actual rap, or you know, just quicker. So like think of let's see, what's a good song? Just give it a little bit more of a variation, because right now this beginning part, and I'll show you in a minute, it has basically the exact same pattern. So I want to make this one like a da 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 da, instead of like a da 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 da, like how this beginning part is going. So I just want to make it like constant. So I'm gonna work to fix that, just to give it a little more intensity instead of just everything repeating. So I actually do want to show you this part, and then I'll see if there's any tweaks I want to make. But I think overall the track is pretty much done. I did mix it a little bit as well, but it's just going to be like laying down the vocals, and that's usually what takes a good amount for me, depending on the song. At least this one is. So let's go ahead and just go back to this part and listen to like right before the breakdown, then I'll show you what the vocals sound like as well. So I think the vocals in this section, like the pattern sounds cool. I definitely like wasn't warmed up enough to actually get these laid down correctly, and still just figuring out the actual tempo. I think the one thing that we can do is maybe just do this and have it slow down more gradually. So let's actually listen to what that sounds like. Okay, so those are kind of the things that I want to work towards. Vocally, I don't know really how to record and like edit a video like that. So I think the next track next week will probably just be like the finale of this, and I'll probably just upload like a finished track or maybe a finished playthrough, and we can walk through it. But I think that's about where the song stands. So I think it came actually together pretty quickly. And usually if I try to work on something like on a video, it doesn't come out as good, but I think this track actually came out pretty cool. So I'm going to just end the video there. I'll work on it a little bit, just trying to get these vocals to fit in, mix, master it, If something comes up, I'll show it on the video, but I think that's about it. So if you've been staying up to date, thanks for staying up to date. Hopefully, obviously this was kind of just like an overview type of episode, but hopefully it was still interesting. And then if there's anything I did as well, you can ask and I will show it in the next episode. So again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week for probably the finale of this track.